My name is Lecturer Clergy Bishop Kenya Mike Loltome, speaking here in Kenya Republic, that is Nairobi National Government, Nairobi National Government, Embakasi East Constituency. And I'm going to read to you the Word of God, particularly from Psalms 51, which is actually, according to theologians, we believe that this was the director of music, a psalm of King David, when Prophet Nathan came to him after David had committed adultery with Bathsheba, the mother of later on King Solomon. So that is what we are going to read, the confession of a king. He said, "Have mercy on me." That is Psalms 51 verse 1 to 4. He said, actually, King David said, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love, according to your great compassion. Blot out my transgression, wash away all my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgression, and my sin is always before me." The key verse here is verse 3. For I know my transgression, and my sin is always before me. Which kind of sin was this king referring to, that I know my transgression? That is, I know that I've become lawlessness to your precept commandments or God commandments. We are told here the king was actually confessing his sins. And you know, confession is turning away from your sin in 360 degrees. After killing his, brave soldier called Uriah. The king one time committed adultery to the wife of his soldier called Uriah. When Uriah was actually fighting on his behalf in the field, he impregnated the woman, and which is called Bathsheba, and he recalled back the soldier to come and sleep with his wife. But the soldier said no, because if you go to that kind of history of Israel, the soldiers who are at war are not supposed to sleep with their wives, to bear children in that case, until the war is over. So we are told that that kind of a mess which the king have done. After now the soldier refused to sleep with his wife, he decided to incite the commanders to put this soldier in front of the battle so that he will be killed, and it happened. If you want to read more about that, is kind of a link again. You can read the story of sin with Bathsheba. It's also told in 2 Samuel, chapters 11 to 12. You can read there. All right, you can read there. So it is so interesting to see that even the king, which was actually having so many wives, like King David, also just had a desire to commit adultery to another person's wife. Meaning then, sin is unavoidable to many human beings in that case. And particularly to those people in position of authority, like president, like kings, like members of parliament, like senior public servant, or rich class of human beings. These human beings sometimes are subjected to become dictators. All right, they become dictators. What we are seeing now in Kenya Republic today, all right, I told Kenyans today in the morning also to read Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15 to 16, and Ezekiel chapter 3 verses 6 to 9. And they are supposed to be so careful, and I was warning them so that the blood of human beings who are going to die in anyhow in Kenya will not be in my hands. So I told them today, I told Kenyans today, because of bad politics, which is now continuing, because our leaders are not in terms. The Supreme People President, which is Raila Amolo Odinga, is commanding 3/4 of Kenyans and about 50 million people. All right, out of 50 million, in that case, plus the president, which is only commanding about, a quarter of human beings, particularly those parliamentarians now of both houses, Senate and also National Parliament, he has bought. All right, and also some public servants, which used to give them money. The rest of the Kenyan, they don't want the president at all, President Ruto. Why? We believe that all of us, including myself, that the president is actually practicing what we call dictatorship. And we have normally two types of dictatorship in the whole world. Alright? And I'm going to mention them so that the Kenyan might know from all races, all tribes, all religions to be very careful. Because our president now seems to be, practicing two type of a very dangerous kind of reign in a philosophical kind of manners, which is not good. We have two dictatorship kind of, kind of human beings. One in their leadership. One of them we call it autocracy and oligarchy. Okay, I consider there are two major types of terrible worldwide dictatorship, cruelty rule on planet Earth. As I speak now today, 2023, the year of Jesus Christ. So this kind of rule, which is called autocracy, is a system of government in which an absolute power is held by the ruler. Like now, Kenya Republic President is doing anything without, in barely 8 months, without consulting anybody. He can do anything nowadays. This kind of a rule known as, autocrat, it includes most forms of monarchy and dictatorship, like a kingship kind of a monarchy, rule, which is not democratic at all, which is now we have it in Kenya. Well, it is also contrasted with democracy and feudalism, or various definitions of autocracy also exist. It is actually anti kind of democracy. Autocracy kind of leadership is actually anti-democratic. Anti-democracy. People are not actually practicing what you call democracy in their rule in that case, which is actually fair kind of a rule. Democracy is a fair kind of a rule because it is the president is not an absolute power, or a king cannot have an absolute power, like monarchy kind of type of. Okay? Another disadvantage of this kind of autocracy, which is, we call it pros and cons of autocracy, it includes leadership facing high pressures, because now that's why now the president is facing a lot of pressure in Kenya. 3/4 of people don't want President Ruto government of Kenya. They are now actually wanting Raila Odinga to lead them. That's why protest is now becoming, unavoidable. It's around the corner because even the mediation is not going anywhere. So it is an autocracy. Leaders hold all the responsibility to make a decision. Our president now, together with his leadership in autocracy kind of leadership, they are the only one who are responsible to make a decision in Kenya. From United Democratic Alliance Party, no other person. Which is also now where everybody is feeling actually stressed and having a lot of pressure. They are also overwhelmed with a lack of welfare. Across all 47 federal county government, 290 constituencies, and 1,450 wards assembly parliaments. Alright? Parliaments, alright? Okay? So what is the oligarchy government? The oligarchy government also in that case also, broadly speaking, is a form of government characterized by the rule of a few persons or families. Like now, only 2 tribes have been ruling us for about now 70 years in Kenya. Alright, 60 years. Alright? It is now about only Kikuyus, president and deputy president mostly, and Kalenjins, president and deputy president. And that's why now this is what we call it, an oligarchy. An oligarchy, kind of a form of government characterized by the rule of a few persons from families, kind of entities. And that's why now all Kenyans don't like that kind of philosophy, which is likened to Aristotle, kind of philosopher, which is in contrast is aristocracy in that case, which was another term to describe a rule by privileged few. So very few are privileged now in this government of President Ruto, and even the previous government of Kikuyu president, and this Kalenjin again president. Some very few are being privileged to get some, job opportunities, employment, and some other, benefits. The rest of other Kenyans, which are numbering about 46 if you subtract 2, because we have 49 anyway. So 47 people, tribes are suffering together with other races of whites. Okay? They are suffering a lot in Kenya. Another mention also. Some of the disadvantages of an oligarchy kind of leadership also, it includes an impact of inequalities and economy kind of crashing down, like what we are experiencing in Kenya. So there's a lot of inequalities, and also the stock market is crashing down because some few people are the one who are actually taking all the the resources of the country, all right, and leaving the rest of other tribes to die and other races too. So this is actually what is now we call it mistreatments, and because the resources are not actually accessible to many other human beings except two tribes, that is Kikuyus and Kalenjin particularly. So what I want to say here, I need Kenyans to know that our president needs to confess together with his deputy president and his leadership administration, which is so oppressive kind of a leadership. And they are supposed to cry this kind of a prayer like King David and to say, have mercy. Because so many have died recently because of mass actions, but nobody seems to be hearing their cries. And many were also mimicked, crippled, and many loss of properties. But instead, the president wrote to his, friend, who is now, prosecutor of, International Criminal Court of Justice, Hague, to come and graduate here in Kenya instead of, hearing what the plea or cries of Kenyans. Because as a mere opposition president, together with this administration, have written to him to say that many people have died and we have lost so many properties. Come in post-election of 2022, which was held on August Tuesday, 9, 2022, come and help us, because now the president is practicing what I have said, autocracy kind of leadership, and oligarchs, okay, kind of a leadership, which is not acceptable in democratic world now. But now the president called his friend, which is Honorable Karim, Khan, who is now the prosecutor of ICC Hague Court, International Court of the World, International Court of United Nations, to come and graduate in Kenya rather than solving our problems or the cries of Kenyans, or to tell the Kenya government to pay the blood of those people who are crying now in the ground. Okay, many people have died, and the Bible does not accept such kind of cries of human being dying, and blood is still crying. The ground want to be, paid back. Okay, in Genesis chapter 4, verse 10, 8 and to 10 there, but 10 is the main verse. The cry of, Cain, which was killed by Cain, who actually who killed his brother Abel, is still actually crying. Okay, he's still crying on the ground, and likewise all Kenyans who have died now because of, post-election violence of 2022. Let us even forget the others, which the Hague has denied to rule it out. But now if you read again Cain and Abel kind of a case, which of course Cain killed his brother, alright, in verse 9 to 10, which is Genesis chapter 4, 9 to 10, then